Hello everyone. Thank you for your interest in learning about root cause and tools that accelerate you getting there. My name is Bernhard Zoom and I work in product marketing for machine learning at Elastic. In previous videos, I've explained the basics of root cause analysis and how Elastic's AIOps capabilities accelerate getting to root cause in observability, essentially putting monitoring of complex systems on autopilot. If you want to catch up, follow one of the links below. In this video, I'll focus what role root cause analysis plays in security and how machine learning as well as specific capabilities of the Elastic security solution accelerate identifying and responding to such threats. Why would you consider applying machine learning to security? As a security analyst, I'm sure you're used to analyzing data from many parts of your system and appreciate the value of multiple layers in your detection approaches. Security threats do have a way to sneak into the specifics of your environment and exploit weaknesses. Therefore, any predefined rules are likely to miss some problems, some threats. By contrast, machine learning learns pattern of what's typical versus abnormal in your data, in your environment. That adds layers to your existing protection, as confirmed in this quote by one of our customers. On the screen now, you can see some of the 60 machine learning powered rules that come with the Elastic security solution. You can also think of machine learning as adding a layer to your system for defense in depth. Investigating security incidents at its heart is root cause analysis. Let's look at how this process proceeds. You start with an alert, which may have been triggered by any number of fixed rules or machine learning. The latter typically by identifying some anomalous activity and measurements. For some types of threats, you may need more sophisticated rules, classifiers in machine learning speak, that distinguish benign from truly suspicious activity. Next, you analyze, dig deeper into what's going on, like on which host the unusual activity occurred, what code was executed, how much data was exchanged, and where. Anomaly Explorer in Elastic Kibana lets you inspect additional information related to detected anomalies, as does Events Analyzer in Elastic Security. Timeline lets you look at the temporal sequence, which provides cues about cause and effect. And with OS Query, you can query operating systems for additional diagnostics, like with a database. Now moving on to phase 3 of the root cause analysis process. Once you have analyzed the alert with all available methods, you have to arrive at some conclusions. Elastic Case Management lets you document how you adjudicated the incident and what response you recommend. Phase 4 of the process typically focuses on fixing the problem. And with security, that means responding to the incident. You get to decide which response you deem appropriate. And Elastic Defense supports the response phase for endpoint detection. Next, my colleague James will demonstrate how the tools I've mentioned specifically support this process. The first clip starts on the security alert screen and highlights how machine learning powered rules detect additional threats that otherwise may have been missed.
What I like to do though is I like to start off looking at the reason field. What's it saying? For these two alerts, these are actually machine learning based, so we provide about 60 or so rules which are based off of our unsupervised machine learning, which is basically learning your data over time. In this case, it's looking at network and process activity, and it's trying to identify what's not normal in your environment. So we've given you a hypothesis to say, hey, here's a job, let's model unusual network behavior, specifically port behavior. And in this case, it found two events where it's saying, listen, Java on this machine typically doesn't connect on port 888 and port 1389. Okay.
With several alerts you've received, now you transition to phase 2 of the process. Drill deeper into these alerts, what's going on. A first logical step is to see more detail from the detected anomaly. To move you along in your investigating, the next clip shows how to apply the events analyzer and timeline to help you figure out what caused the alerts and whether they represent legitimate threats.
Go to my acknowledge queue. There's a new open alert as the time I'm recording. Let's look at this in full screen. So we covered these, we covered this, we covered these 3 malware alerts, we covered the potential reverse shell activity. This is probably related to what we saw as part of the, taking the files and sending them over Slack. We can actually check that. So there's a view we haven't spoken about yet in this demo, which is our event analyzer view, which instead of like session viewer showing me processes spawning off of each other like I was in the terminal, this is going to be a bit more graphical. This is going to show me process lineage in a very graphical way. So we're just going to let that load to see what happened. So again, we go all the way up the chain. We see Java, that start Java process. We see a bunch of sh, that pound check script, and then this copy command. Yep, this is essentially taking those SSH keys that we saw, and we can see that file was created. So they took them, right? They took the authorized keys file. But they didn't take any private keys, it seems, just the authorized keys file.
The timeline lets you see the sequence of events and how they are related. Once you're done, you can add it to the incident report in our case management system and transition to phase 3 of the process where you adjudicate the incident.
We might also want to start investigating in more detail. We might want to start using what we call our timeline, which is our investigative workpad. So as an example, we have an alert here for unusual network destination domain name, which is actually the result of a machine learning alert. I'm going to go ahead and view this in our timeline. Our timeline is a fully fledged workpad to do investigations, correlations, and much more. If I wanted to pivot to see all destination activity to this IP address, I simply need to add it to our timeline. And now we can see every single other event where this IP address was a destination. I'm going to save it. And perhaps we might want to add this to our case.
In security, you typically seek to expand your existing layers of defense. Elastic lets you build up your protection by offering targeted machine learning powered threat detection models that we train in our security lab and you can use out of box. In 8.6, we added data exfiltration, and previously you could access classifiers for domain generated algorithms and living of land attacks, which are hard to detect, so that you need a more powerful machine learning method to identify them. Alternative, you can also access community authored rules with a few clicks as shown on this screen.
I'm highlighting this rule as well because this was a community contribution. Shout out to Austin Songer. This is one of the ways that the community can give back. Our detection rules are all open on a public repo.
In summary, I hope I was able to convince you that machine learning adds value by identifying threats that other approaches may miss, and how the Elastic security solution accelerates getting to root cause of incidents. First, machine learning adds another layer of protection to your existing defenses by identifying bespoke patterns of how threats reveal themselves in your data. And we also have the sophisticated supervised classifiers that go after the most difficult to detect threats. Next, Elastic Security provides a comprehensive suite of interactive tools that accelerate your alert investigation process. Finally, Elastic SIM and Defend protect your hosts and cloud workloads with a comprehensive suite of capabilities, threat detection, deep security data visibility, and thus you get protected against more threats than other solutions can offer you. Don't take my word that you should consider Elastic. Renowned analysts like Gartner and Forrester have confirmed our leadership in the security space. Are you ready to learn more? Here are some ways. Check out on our website the SIM portion, as well as in security, our automated threat protection mechanisms. If you want to learn more about machine learning, see what is Elasticsearch Machine Learning. And engage with us in one of our discussion forums where you can ask questions and our experts will answer. Or if you don't have access to Elastic yet, check out our free 14-day trial. I hope some of what you have heard today applies to your specific business. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.